Welcome to the stage, Levi and Kyle. All right, so these two gentlemen are not business partners, but they are friends. Here's what we're going to do. We talked backstage. I said, what I want to do is I just want to ask you guys questions that I want to learn about. And we're going to invite the conversation in front of all of you guys. Is that cool? Yeah. All right, so Kyle Handy is an SEO, search engine optimization expert, leveraging funnels, as well as some video. Right? Levi actually saw YouTube video marketing. They could each talk for hours by themselves, but here's how we're going to start. We'll get a little context. Why don't we'll start with Kyle and then Levi. Kyle, how long have you been in EXP? What does your frontline look like? What's your total organization? Just give us some context. We're going to drill deep on it. Where did you start?
So 5 years with EXP. Frontline is 141 agents. Total organization 602. And yeah, I've been in the business for 15 years. I had an independent brokerage before EXP, and I've been on YouTube for maybe about 3 years now.
Okay. All right. And Levi, how long EXP, frontline, and total organization?
Yes, my name is Levi Lascsak, and next month will be 2 years in EXP and 2 years in real estate. And we have 63 frontline with 25 FLQA, so we got tier 6 open with 380 in the organization.
Pretty good, right? And both of them using attraction-based marketing. So I'm going to throw this out to you. You guys want to start? Gosh, there's so much we can ask about. You want to start with the first one, Kyle? All right, first question is Kyle. So Kyle's using, Kyle, you've tried a lot of different attraction strategies from video, search engine. Like, what have you found is the most perfect for you? And if someone else is going to try to start doing it, where should they start?
Well, hands down video. I've done blog posts. I've done like social media, and I kind of classify social media a little bit differently than YouTube. But and then I've done YouTube, and for sure for agent attraction, YouTube has been like a game changer. You can just build so much trust and value with people that like when I get on calls with agents, they're already like ready to sign up. I don't have to really convince them. They just want to know that I'm a real person and that they can get in touch with me, and then they're ready to go. And so. For sure, like, even like the blog post side of it, I get a lot of attention from there. And same thing with social media, I get a lot of attention on there. But the YouTube videos is where it hammers home people to actually join me at EXP.
I love it. And Levi, you told me a similar story yesterday. People said, go deeper in this, like people just reach out to you and they're ready to sign up. What does that mean for you?
Well, we have a video on that actually. But so the thing is that, when I was starting out, less than 2 years ago, I had zero brand, zero recognition. Nobody knew who I was or my business partner, Travis Plumb. And so we wanted to find the fastest track possible. And we also wanted to attract. So we understood the business model coming into EXP. I've known Michael Reese for 20 years. And what's funny is that we actually sold gym memberships together back at Valley Total Fitness before he got into real estate. And so when Cliff was talking yesterday about don't give up on people, he's been trying to recruit me since 2002 to get into real estate. But I never wanted to be a real estate agent because I never wanted to do the real grunt work in the beginning. But whenever my business went to zero during 2020 because of everything shut down, I had to make a shift. And so I said, okay, and here's Michael nipping at my heels again saying, get into real estate. And I said, well, if I'm going to do this, what's the fastest way I can get there? And what I did was actually, I looked up to Kyle Handy, and I looked at the charts of the top attractors in EXP, and I said, what do they all have in common? And they all had YouTube in common. And they all had strong presence on YouTube and especially video marketing. And so that was what triggered me to say, maybe I could find something into YouTube. And the other thing is I didn't really understand the other platforms. Everybody was saying get into TikTok because everyone was waking up to 10,000 followers. But I didn't really see people turning over serious business from that. And so when I found out YouTube was a search engine, not a social media platform, and I realized I could create content about Dallas, which is what people are searching for. They're not searching for the best real estate agent. They're searching for information on Dallas. I wasn't a real estate agent, so I had zero experience in that, but I've lived in Dallas for 20 years, and I can talk about my market all day long.
I love it. So here's my question. The platforms that are out there, YouTube, for example, let's use that one, seems to change on a regular basis. What you did starting 2 years ago is amazing. What you did starting a few years ago. If anyone's in the room here, or someone watching the video, doesn't currently have a YouTube strategy, are they too late?
No, I don't think so at all. I think that, yeah, things are constantly changing and evolving. There's, different techniques and strategies that you can do, but I think overall the principle that hasn't changed that YouTube allows you to do is you can add value to people. And so if you start there and you basically think of like, hey, like Levi mentioned, it's a search platform. So what are people coming to YouTube to search for? And that's where the SEO side of it came in for me. Is, I just really studied that game and figured out like, hey, what are people looking for, specifically real estate agents, and how can I scratch that itch? How can I like solve that problem for them? And so I show up every day thinking like, hey, what video can I make today that's gonna solve a problem for an agent? And I've just done that now for 3 years. I've got over 300 videos. And so if you do a search for almost anything related to EXP or just, general real estate agent questions, I show up. And that transparency, that like openness and willingness to help, I think, people love that. And so, yeah, I mean, there's things that come along like short form video that, you can do YouTube shorts. There's like different little like techniques that you can do that might change a little bit, but overall, if you just think like, hey, how can I help people? And then you constantly are just trying to evolve that and get it better over time, that's where you're going to succeed at.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's never too late for anything because consistency is going to win. Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of people that always look at the shiny penny. They want to get started. But the thing is that also starting, I understood the trap. If I try to be everywhere on every social platform, I would put 20% effort into 5 different platforms, which everybody would say when you start out, you need to be everywhere. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. I want to pick one platform, learn it, understand it. This is what I talked about at Build, of hyper learning any subject in 60 days. The information is out there. I don't care if you want to be the best postcard marketer on the planet right now. If you study that over the next 60 days, I promise you'll be more proficient than 99.9% of the agents out there. Probably even some that have been doing postcard marketing for the last 10 years because they probably just got into it and did it and then just kind of learned a few things. But if you actually studied it, and that's the only thing that once I chose YouTube, I studied it first for about 60 days, learned absolutely everything I could, built a plan because these platforms are so powerful. If you treat them like a hobby, they'll pay you like a hobby. If you treat them like a business, they'll pay you like a business. But you have to understand the back end from a producer side, not a consumer side. And if you're like me at that 40-year-old age range and above, we've got this love-hate relationship with social media, because we didn't grow up with it. It wasn't there in high school or college. And so, we just saw it. We thought it was people posting their lunch and silly cat videos and everyone's bragging. And so we're like, okay. But then we watch the 20 and the 30-year-olds make money and we're going, okay, well, maybe there's something to this, So then, but again, understanding that YouTube is a search platform and we actually capture people in the research phase before they've ever decided to hire a real estate agent.
Why does everyone hate on cat videos? I'm just asking. Anyway, right, so those of you who are raising hand, if you will acknowledge like me that you are very impatient. Pretty much everything. Cool. So this question is for Levi. Watching you from the outside, you were not a real estate agent 2 years ago. Literally never sold a house. Now he has an incredible real estate business and an agent attraction business. It looks like a rocket ship ride. Did it feel like it happened quickly, or did it go painfully slow, like most of us would think they had to say? How did it feel when you were there?
Yeah, what people don't see is I always say it took 7 months to really get the first deal under contract. So it was, if you look at the 2 months worth of studying, and then I understood that consistency was key, and I filmed a month's worth of content before even publishing. Most people will film a video, get excited, publish it, and then guess what happens? Life happens, health happens, real estate happens, and they don't publish the second video, and then after a week or two goes by, they start making excuses to justify why not to publish the next one, right? And that's why they quit. So I understood that trap beforehand. So I filmed a whole month's worth of content first. So that way, whenever I published the first video, I was already scheduled out an entire month. Then I could start working on that next month's worth of content and be ahead. So 2 months of studying, a month of filming, and then publishing. It took 90 days to get the first deal under contract. Now, that may seem like a lifetime, but when you add all that up, yes, 7 months. And there were several times in there I thought about quitting, but I also committed to myself to give it 1 year regardless. 1 year no matter what. And we closed the first 2 deals. I didn't sell a home in the first quarter of 2021, and we ended up closing 64 transactions in the last 9 months. So that's the compound effect. This year, we're already over 170 transactions and just broke 100 million from the YouTube channel, 0 ad spend.
That is amazing. So I'm all the people who that's on the production side. Clearly, when I talk to I said, why didn't you just dive into agent attraction? He says, it's not how I'm wired. He said, I want to prove I can sell houses first in this world, which I love that, Levi. Now that you started agent attraction maybe about a year ago, did that pick up quickly, or did that also take some time?
We just started that about a year ago. So we were kind of building the real estate business in the first portion of 2021. Again, wanted to get some experience in that, first of all. So if somebody says, have you ever done a transaction? Yeah, yes, I did one. And the thing is that I wanted to have that credibility, but also I understood that I wanted to be able to pass value to people to agent attract as well. If I just tried to recruit to EXP, I think that is a very large hill to climb. But people come to us because they want to learn video, and that's our niche. If you want to be the best cold caller, I can't really help you there. But if you want to grow your business on YouTube, then I can absolutely help you there. And that's the people we're attracting. They don't even bat an eye at EXP. They're like, oh, that's all I got to do is join EXP. It's almost like, okay, cool. I just want to grow my production. So we're focused on helping people grow their production first, and that just brings them over.
Kyle, you want to pick up question?
Oh yeah, no, I mean I think he nailed it on the head. I don't think there's anything else to add.
So question for Kyle. And Kyle's been pretty much straight line his entire career. Everything's always worked, right, Kyle?
Yeah, right. Not at all.
I'd like to know, looking backwards, you said 5 years in EXP, right?
Right.
5 years in EXP. Is there a single moment or two you could pinpoint where you're like, man, I wish I would have known this when I started? Like, what would you have done differently if you would have shifted anything over the last 5 years?
Wow. I would say, yeah, I mean, I wish that I for sure would have started video sooner. Like I said, I had been in EXP already for 3.5 years before I even got on YouTube. And, and so I was doing it like most people probably do, where you're just, out there locally connecting to the agents, and it worked. I got to like 50, 75 agents in my organization, so I had built a little track record, but then I was like, man, it finally dawned on me that like this opportunity is way bigger than anything I had even like drew up in my mind, because I was just a local independent broker. So I was still thinking like a local independent broker when I came over to EXP for a while. And then when it finally dawned on me, like, I can get agents all over. Like, why am I just doing the same thing as I've always done? So something like clicked, and I was like, I got to find a way, a mechanism to take advantage of this opportunity. And that's when, I started thinking bigger. I started, writing down ideas and started, trying new things. And some worked, some didn't work. Some got shut down by the company. I couldn't do certain things, and I was like, all right, well, I'll go in a different direction then.
A pioneer.
So, yeah, exactly. And so, it was just one of those things, though. I knew, once it finally clicked, you didn't have to tell me what to do. I was just going to try everything and then figure it out. And so I think that's what for us, all of our paths are not going to be the exact same. But if you have that desire of hey, I know where this is going. I know that it's a big opportunity. What's your strengths? How do you, take advantage of your past skills and what you have and offer that up to the marketplace? I think that, a lot of people will align with that. And you'll be able to grow this opportunity as big as you ever want. So.
Love that. Levi, can I give you the same question? 2-year journey, right? Anything you would have done differently? Can you identify a mistake? Like, oh man, that was a mistake. I wish I would have done that. Anything that jumps out from you?
No, it's been perfect. Yeah, Well, what we did is we've invested heavily. So yes, we've made money very quickly, but I think a lot of people would say, hey, you need to diversify, go buy real estate or something like that. Instead, we invested back in ourselves. We invested in mentorships. We invested in traveling, getting to as many conferences as possible, meeting people. Our coach Justin's over there in the back. We hired a teams coach, before we thought we were ready. That's a significant investment. He's very expensive, but he's worth every single penny. And we hired a teams coach because Travis and I have built businesses before, but we hadn't run a real estate team. So we felt like that was different. So we hired Justin because we wanted somebody to look over our shoulder and say, hey, don't step in that hole. And then, of course, I was recruited by Michael Reese. He's been in the game. So I don't try to invent really anything in the beginning. I say, who's at the top? What are they doing? How did they get there? How can I model that? How can I adjust it to fit my personality? And then how can I do better than them? So that's my model for success. And so I just follow in the footsteps of others, and then I adapt to me and try to just pass everyone up humbly at that time. So.
I love that. All right, we got about 5 minutes. I want to get really actionable, really strategic. Ready? This is one of my favorite questions for the podcast. Any podcast listeners in here? There's just a couple podcasts. I know these guys really class. So check this out. let's say you were on another planet, like you're on Mars. We had to start this all over again, right? Different company, everything, totally different planet, this house and people. Like you start from scratch. What would you do your first week? What was your first 30 days? What's your action plan to rebuild as quickly as possible what you've already built? From an agent attraction standpoint, what would you do your first week and first 30 days?
We have an internet connection and we have access to like something to take a video. Like doesn't have to be a DSLR, just like a camera.
Absolutely.
Okay, absolutely. I would be on starting videos. For me, the way that it starts, like actually, actionable items, is I do a lot of research ahead of time. So I figure out like the next 40, 50 videos that I'm gonna make before I even make one video. And so, because then when you start doing that, you can start to tie in videos and think more strategically versus like, oh, I'm gonna make this video. And then like you think up your next week of like, all right, well, I'm gonna make this video. I think up ahead of time all the videos that I wanna make in the next 4 or 5 months. And that way I can start tying things together. I can make call to actions that are more, systematized. There's just a lot of synergy when you do that. Plus, then it just becomes much easier because you're both doing everything. So, I would sit down, I would game plan it out, figure out, the first 40, 50 videos that I want to make. If I've got some access to technology, I'd start recording videos. I would try to, if I've got some resources like financially and I can hire somebody, I would get out of the weeds, like learning how to video edit and stuff like that. I did it and it's not worth it. I'll tell you, it's much better to pay somebody. Now I pay somebody like $60 to edit a YouTube video. It's well worth it, right? And so it's within all of our budgets. I wouldn't make excuses. It's one of those things I think a lot of us, especially around video, we make so many excuses of why not to do it. I think the difference, with myself and Levi is we figure out like, well, why, how can we do it? Like with anything, right? Like I would want to take advantage of the global opportunity, but I don't speak a lot of languages. I could say, oh, well, I don't speak that language, so I'm not going to make videos. Or I could say, how do I get my videos transcribed? How do I, I got to figure it out. And that's why my brain thinks is like, how do I do something always? And then I go out there and learn it and do it, and then I just get better at it. And so I think that would be my strategy going in. It's just like, figure it out. It starts with your why, knowing like, why am I doing this? What is this going to achieve? And then for me, like, because I've had success with it, I know now, like, that carries me through. Like, so for instance, I know, like, in the last, 3 months, I've attracted probably 28 agents in the last 3 months from my YouTube channel, and I haven't even published one single video, except for my live. I do a live stream every single week, but I haven't published a video. And that's because I put so much work and effort in that now I can't stop this train even if I wanted to. And that's the type of business that I want to build, and I feel like a lot of us are building because that's why we do agent attraction. So why not do agent attraction with a strategy that builds like agent attraction, which is YouTube?
And if I can jump on here and say, so at Build, we introduced the concept of passive prospecting, which is the video does the work for us. When people call us, they've already made the decision that they want to work with us. They already want us to be their real estate agent. Well, passive prospecting works the same for passive attraction. And Blair, if we can we cue the video? Because I want to show you a real example, and Kurt can attest to this because Kurt knows this is exactly how it goes. I had him sit in on 2 random agent attraction calls I did, and he will tell you this is exactly how it. Can we play the video?
I've seen your YouTube videos and I love the YouTube idea.
Came across your guys' video and I like the entire idea of providing content and value for the city you live in.
When I ran across your commercial, I was like, I need this.
I love your videos. I've watched your neighborhood where you go, you have the map and all of that. That's beautiful.
YouTube led me over to your stuff and I started watching that and I was like, yeah, this is cool, local guy.
You guys are rocking and rolling on YouTube and just watching the videos and
I just like the way you do things. I've been watching your Instagrams, by the way. That's really good. And you are doing what I want to do.
I had just watched your video on Highland Park, and I go to a CrossFit gym here. This lady was from there, and I felt like an expert, like I knew everything about it. They're great videos.
It makes sense what you guys are doing. I like the flow, the charisma that you guys had. I felt relatable to you guys, You caught my attention, so I was like, wait a minute here. I gotta see what these guys are doing, right? They look cool.
I would just gravitate toward you because you seem to be sincere, compassionate about what you do, knowledgeable, and real.
I really like what y'all do.
You're great at what you do.
I wanted to find out more about your program. I'm gonna have to say you're probably one of the few that has that technology side of it.
Levi always says no one's gonna watch your first video anyway, so it's all good.
Found your YouTube channel and I was like, this sounds like something I want to do rather than cold calling all day and all that. I don't want to waste time doing that. No.
Now let me step up my game for real.
Let's join up with these guys.
And I really wanted to implement it into my business. That's why I'm here to see how the partnership could actually work out.
Kindly you accepted my request to meet with you so we can see how we can do a partnership.
Tell me about your proposition, your partnership. How does that work?
With EXP platforms, and you're not working directly under a broker, but you still have a broker of record that's around to answer things, right? Mm-hmm. And how does that work?
How does that work? Do I sign up with EXP? I've watched a lot of their videos.
Joining the team, what does that mean? What does that entail to you? What kind of splits are with EXP? Is there a team split? All of that stuff is important information.
Talk to me a little bit about the EXP model and about the desk fees and things like that.
What all EXP people have access to and how that sort of thing works.
I'd be happy to join and join your team.
Who's going to be my sponsor?
What else do I need to know to get started?
What do we need to do to move forward from here?
How do I get started?
I don't know what the next steps are, but you can shoot me whatever email I need.
What would be the next step?
It sounds good. So what's next? What's the next step?
What is the next step after our call? So what are the next steps from here?
So what's the next step?
What are the next steps after this phone call?
What will be the next steps?
Well, what's the next step?
What's the next step? What are we doing?